that dude. Bet I see you from the top, yeah, real soon. Looking down on the haters that I've been through. Told them I'll see you later, yeah, big truth. I keep a real good pace. Built a big house, damn, look at that place. Up in my mind, cause that's my space. House so big, full of positive things. And I can't be shook, cause I ain't no rook, man, I wrote the book.
Woo! Welcome back to another episode of the Monsters of the Gridiron podcast on a Feeling Defeated Monday. That's what I'm going to call this day. Man, Feeling Defeated Monday all around. Man, everyone watched that game? I don't know, man. I'm still a little bit emotional about it, feeling all type of different emotions. I'm angry. I'm sad at the same time, man. But hopefully we get this thing turned around, man. I'm gonna let you guys, kick it off. Introduce yourselves real quick, Terry, before we get into it.
What's going on, world? I'm Terry Spain, diehard Bears fan. Of course, you already know that, and I'm happy to be on this podcast with my fellow brothers talking about what we love, and that's the Chicago Bears. Walt, talk to me.
Well said, Terry. You know me as Walt. You can go by CB Sickles. You go by my X handle. Man. Overall, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because I'm not disappointed because I am. But at the same time, last night, the chance of victory was maybe 5 or 10% to begin with. We just didn't get blown out, so it's a win in my book.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, with all the stuff, all the
guess you take that. You can take that. The thing is,
say again.
Go ahead, Terry. I think I'm delayed. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay. I said with all the stuff that was going. Okay. Well, all the stuff that's going on with us, for us to just only lose by 6 points, that's definitely a bright spot for us, and that's something to build on. I don't like moral victories, but the Bears could have won that game yesterday. The fact that we had an opportunity to come back and was driving, that's definitely something to look forward to. But yeah, I know we're going to get in and talk about some of the stuff that we need to work on too. But back to you, Samo.
Man, I'm not going to say could. I'm going to say we should have won that game yesterday, man. Anytime you hold the team to, 16?
Yeah.
16 points? And we can't score 17 points? Come on, man. This just sad, man. This is just rinse, wash, and another repeat of what we've been dealing with all my life. I'm going to say all my life as a Bears fan. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off right here, man. Just talk about it, man. The offense sucks. Like, man, the defense played well, but the offense, man, I don't know what it is, man, but I'm going to let you kick it off, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, suck is being generous. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, I was disappointed. Yeah, we could have used Keenan Allen last night, and he probably would have gotten us more possessions as a wide receiver. But the offensive line, that was unacceptable. And this cannot be the product that we put out on the field and expect for our quarterback to excel. You can't do that. You have to go out there and block. You're going to have to go out there and do whatever it takes to make your team win and help your quarterback, because you got sacked 7 times. You cannot blame that on the quarterback. That definitely has to be on the coach, and that definitely has to be on the offensive line. And I can't tell you how many false starts and penalties that we got from the offensive line. There should be some people who need to sit. You bench Velus Jones for him muffing a punt. We need to bench some players that are not tackling right or not blocking right. What you think, Walt?
Terry, I couldn't agree more with you than that. The offense, not even just the offensive line, but the blocking assignments as a whole was a joke last night across the board. Tackles, guards, centers, wide receivers, tight ends all failed at their position. And you know what? I know Shane Waldron took a lot of heat last night, and he's still taking a lot of heat right now. But at the same time, you have to look a little deeper than that and possibly look into Chris Morgan. Because what's the constants over the constant dominant, the consistent denominator over this, this last 3 years? Chris Morgan is your offensive line coach. He is the first line of defense in terms of training these guys up to get them ready what they need to do. Shane Waldron has last say, of course. It's his plan. He's at the top of the mountain. But when you go, you have your players, and then who's first up? That's Chris Morgan. Is it because he has too much responsibility now as an offensive running game coordinator? I don't know. But, his job is in jeopardy too, not just the head coach and the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
David,
I'm late. Hey, man.
Jump right in.
It was a long, sad drive from Houston today.
I bet.
All right, listen. I don't. The first thing I want to say is just nothing but love for the Houston fan base. There was a lot of cutting up, and a lot of ribbing and joking, but it was all love. It was all fun. They were talking a lot of trash. We were talking a lot of trash, but at the end of it, we were buying each other beers and having a good time. I will say this, just jumping in, agreeing with what you guys were saying. So listen, I had a bird's eye view. I was top level mezzanine in the end zone. So I'm looking at the lines. I'm looking at the gaps and the holes. And I'm just going to tell you right now, Swift had nothing to work with.
Yeah.
And I understand, he's a running back, and if he doesn't see anything, he's going to bounce it out. But sometimes I'm like, Swift, just take the 2 to 3 yards, man, and let's call it a day. I know it isn't there. He's got to stop looking for the home run, and he's got to grind out those tough yards. I thought that we got off to a horrible start running the ball. I think we were at one point -7 rushing going into the second quarter. Secondly, probably the worst game I've ever seen Darnell Wright play. I don't know if he was
I agree
up with him. Worst game, and I got nothing but love for him. I was angry. I was saying maybe he should go back to the wide receiver workout he was doing last year.
Something, right?
Yeah, something wasn't right with that first step. Will Anderson was eating him up, not only with his speed, but with the stutter step, and he was going right around him. It just wasn't pretty, guys. It just wasn't pretty from a pass protection perspective. I counted it, and I'd have to say, out of all I think I did some math, about 81% of Caleb's dropbacks, he was under heavy pressure, less than 2 seconds. No time to – and, I was amongst some Bear fans, and I was even one of them where everything he was captain check down, right? And it's because he had no time for anything to develop downfield. And I honestly think some of those throws were hero throws, especially the 2 interceptions. They were hero. He was trying to play hero, and that led to the turnovers, but he just couldn't set his feet. He couldn't set his feet. He couldn't set his hips. And the vision, I'm not going to say, again, I'm not going to blame Caleb at all. And I already went at it with some Justin Fields, fans. And I'm like, Justin wouldn't have won that game either.
No.
I got news for you. He would have been sacked 6 or 7 times. And I promise you, he'd have fumbled. I was very proud of Caleb for not fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he didn't, because he was getting killed. He wasn't just getting dragged down. He was getting clobbered.
Oh, yeah. They was hammering him.
He's got a lot of heart. And it was just a rough game all around. Defensively, I think we could have done some things better in the first half. Letting them come down and kick that field goal before halftime was inexcusable. Although they got away with one, because that man was not in bounds on that toe drag. I don't know how he got the call from New York. But that was just inexcusable. The second half, I think the defense really stepped up, because I don't think Houston punted in the first half. They didn't punt in the first half. So overall, I went there I wanted them to keep it close, maybe steal it, and dang it, as bad as they were, we had an opportunity to do that at the end. As bad as we played, I couldn't believe it. 1:30 left, and we were down 6. We could win it. It was weird. It was crazy. I didn't expect that, and I put that on the defense, creating that goal line fumble, and so it was just an overall bad game. Overall, they're going to learn from it. But I do think we do need to make some moves. We do need, and I'll give it back to you guys, and I'll jump in later. But we do need to make some moves.
Yeah.
But even to your point, David, I did bring in a couple of the whiffs by Darnell Wright just to give people an idea of what we were looking at last night. So we'll visit this one first.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, you see right away. He just
the jersey tear. We call that the jersey tear. Yeah.
And that led to the interception too.
And the fact that he didn't get sacked off of that. That's the crazy thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we all remember this one right at the end of the game.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what was going on with Darnell Wright last night, but he looked lost. He had his miscues even in the run game too. Whiffed on a few blocks there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But
that pissed me off just watching it just now. Quite honestly,
getting him killed.
The fact that you got somebody pouncing on your quarterback like that.
Yeah.
Yep. This entire offensive line, man, it's inexcusable. Like you guys said, man, from the coaching, man. It starts from coaching. I'm gonna say, and it starts from the top, man. It's because I want to say Eberflus is culpable. Yes, Shane Waldron is culpable, but I'm with Walt too, man. We talked about this about 3-4 weeks ago, and I said that I don't think that Chris Morgan is a good offensive line coach. He has done nothing. He has not produced one good offensive lineman for this team. All we see is regression from these players week after week, year after year. The first year we thought we had something in Braxton Jones. The second year, he can't handle a bull rush. The third year, he can't stay healthy. This year, he's inconsistent. And now last year we thought we had something in our guy Darnell Wright. This year, regression. Now he's just getting blown by. Like, what is he teaching these guys, man? It has to be the coaching to me. Like, he has to do better. And then the entire middle of that fucking offensive line, man, fucking Coleman Shelton should not be the starting center for this team, man. And they would have known that had they allowed these guys to play in the preseason. We shouldn't be finding that out in week 1 and week 2, getting our quarterback killed. And I know they keep saying, well, it's too late at this point in time. And everyone wants to say, well, we don't want to get the players hurt. Well, the player can get hurt the first play of the game, like Aaron Rodgers did last year, or the last play of the game, like Jordan Love did this year. So that shit doesn't matter. I want to know what if the player's going to get hurt, I'd rather they go down in the preseason because I'll have a plan for that when the season actually starts.
Exactly.
So if it happens, it happens. Players have to protect themselves in these games, but more than everything else, they have to be prepared for these games. And we look ill-prepared in these games, man. In the last 2 games, our offensive line, agree. Yeah, they don't have it. They just don't have it. And the fact that he's also the running game coordinator and we don't have a running game right now, I mean, he's fully culpable for the shit that we're seeing right now, man. And something has to change. I know that they don't like making change in season with coaching, but something has to change. And it has to start with moving some players out because at least 2 of those guys need to go. And you guys tell me what you think about Shelton. I don't think he needs to be starting any longer. And I'm done with Nate Davis, man. Some of the shit I saw from him in his game, like I'm done with that dude, man.
I guarantee you Chicago Bears was searching everybody's practice squad or looking at teams that are willing to trade. And quite honestly, it's going to be a package deal. I think they're willing to trade Velus Jones now. If you trade him and get an offensive line to go with that,
bag of potato chips.
hey, somebody is willing to take a chance because he could have got traded earlier. So quite honestly, I just think I think that the Bears are definitely going to make a change, like you mentioned, Samo. We have to. That was unacceptable. When you're on primetime television, this is an opportunity for you to shine. This is an opportunity and granted, we could have won that game. We should have won that game.
Yes.
But 7 sacks, and we play the Colts next week. I think DeForest Buckner got hurt. That's the best defensive player for the Colts. So I think he's hurt. He might not play.
I don't think he's going to play. I mean,
thank God.
Still.
Thank God. But yeah, you're right. Still. Because Mario Edwards looked like a star last night. Remember, we had Mario Edwards about 2-3 years ago on this team, which I liked him then, but man, he's jumping all over Caleb, man.
Yeah, he sure is.
It's just like he's He's looking like T'Vondre Sweat did the week before. We made excuses the week before saying, oh, but he won't have to deal with a T'Vondre Sweat. T'Vondre Sweat's 330 pounds. He won't have to deal with that. All right. Well, here it is, Mario Edwards, 290 pounds or 280, somewhere around there. And he's doing the same thing, just tossing Shelton around, man. It's just inexcusable. It's unacceptable. Something has to change, man. And that was Caleb's welcome to the NFL moment. And I hope that after this, he doesn't have to experience this, because we saw what that did to Justin Fields and every quarterback before him.
Hey, quickly, Samuel, I wanted to jump in on Eric Harper's question or comment here. It says Shelton was solid out west. Is it him or is it the arrangement? And he does have a point. Coleman Shelton and guys like Coleman Shelton and Nate Davis weren't trash when they were in Tennessee and in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. So they come here and all of a sudden they can't play football.
Well, either they can't play football or they're going to be sitting on somebody's bench, because that's unacceptable.
I mean, here's what I think what they should do is the Nate Davis experiment is over. I mean, I don't even want him on the roster anymore. He's completely has no heart. He's not playing.
Try to trade him if you can.
It's over. My thing is, move Tevin to right guard. Put him next to Darnell. And then I'm ready. I've been a big Doug Kramer supporter. I'm like, let's put Doug Kramer in there. I want to see what he can do. He's got a little bit more weight than Shelton, and he can't be any worse. And center has always been his natural position. He's 2 years removed from the injury that kept him on the IR in his rookie year. Go with him. And then if he's not hurt, put Kieran at left guard. What could it hurt?
Is that the kid that we drafted from Yale?
Yes.
Yeah. Give him a shot.
We took from Yale.
Give him a shot.
Put him at left guard and have him go next to Braxton to learn, and go with those guys and move Tevin to right and get Nate out of there. That's what we need to do.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if they don't, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna play left tackle or something. And I'm gonna go out there myself and I'm gonna hit somebody. This was unacceptable.
In the car. We could be in the interior and give that man more time than these guys. It was just crazy, just crazy bad. I tell you what, we were at the Four Seasons last night and we saw Velus Jones, and I saw him getting a drink handed to him, and I told Will, I said, watch him drop the drink. I said, watch him drop the drink. He was like,
hey,
that's a good one.
Hey, well, there was some accountability for Velus. Now there needs to be accountability for these other guys, because they decided that he was going to be a healthy scratch, to teach him a lesson. So, and like you said, I'm done with Nate Davis. I'm with David. I don't think he deserves to be on this team any longer, man. He's shown no heart. He hasn't even shown that he loves to play football, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. We need to just go ahead and take our L and just, make an example out of him to show players that, we're not going to put up with this. You can go, you can leave.
Pryor too.
Yeah.
Matt Pryor's, 7-year vet.
Matt Pryor played well. He was the best. He's been the best offensive lineman I've seen this year on play on the field. Yeah. The best one I've seen this year. He's the only guy that drives players off the ball. I don't know what he's teaching these guys. These guys all need to be hitting the sled. We don't push people off the line of scrimmage. We don't fire off the ball. It's like we can't get an inch. We can't get a half a fucking yard, man. Come on now. We can't get a half a yard. And it's ridiculous.
You know what, David? You brought up, even Samuel, you said it here, lack of heart from Nate Davis. I have to address also Cole Kmet. What happened? And you know what? I have evidence to back up this claim too, because here it is.
Show it. Oh. I know what play he's showing.
I know exactly what play you're talking about.
I knew what play he was going to show.
And he didn't even have the decency to help his quarterback up.
Yeah. And he is too big.
OFT.
He is too big and too big a body again.
Paid him all that money.
I mean, I don't know if Mercedes Lewis has got to get on him or Mercedes Lewis has got to come in and block. I mean, if we need that kind of a veteran, that the 21-year veteran has to do it, then fine. But our tight ends are not helping. And here's the thing: we can't even max protect. Even when we have a two tight end, we can't even max protect well.
No.
I'm trying to think about it objectively. Did we just face the best defense we're going to play all year?
We have.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna tell you that right now. So in all fairness, I mean, we all know Houston is talented. I mean, we can't take anything away from them. That is the best defense we're gonna play all year. Now, I mean, 7 sacks, you don't want that. But if that's the best defense we played all year and we should have won the game,
you forgetting about one, Terry.
That's encouraging.
You forgetting about one.
San Francisco.
Nope, I'm not. Yes, I forgot about San Francisco, but I think they may be better. The team that I'm worried about right now facing are the Minnesota Vikings. They have 11 sacks already on the year. They have like 4 or 5 interceptions already on the year, and they blitz.
We don't
like
play
crazy.
them till late. Hopefully, we beat them.
We don't play them.
We got a long time to get ready.
And I'm so thank God, because we
should have all of that out of our system by then.
God,
no, it's a good point. Samuel makes a good point because listen, I was watching that game yesterday, and I was telling him, this Minnesota Viking team is no joke. They're legit on both sides of the ball.
They are good.
I mean, I know San Francisco kind of tried to make a little comeback at the end, but they're not going to be an easy dub with Sam Darnold. You better put respect on his name. I mean, I know he might. I mean, and that sounds weird to say, but he was making some good throws. Like, I was like, wow, throws against a really solid. I know that one pick he threw to the linebacker. You go back and look at that play. That was just an exceptional play by the linebacker. That was like, that was not a bad throw, but that was just a ridiculous play by the linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like you said, Terry, we've got like 8 weeks. We don't even. I mean, I don't know why the schedule makers did that to us. Like we played our entire division starting November, December. It's kind of weird. So we've got time to work out the kinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most definitely. And it starts this week. It starts this week when we play against the Colts.
Now, Terry, I know you got to sign off here. Is there anything else you want to say to the chat before you go?
No, I don't know if any of you guys are going to be going to the game next week. I'm not going to go, but I think one of the things that we definitely need.
I was. I think. Thank God I didn't matter to take him early.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Will was trying to talk me into it last night, and I was like,
yeah. I think I just think that we're definitely have to correct the mistakes that we've made. And we did face a very powerful defense, but our defense was good too, and they were still able to drive the ball down the field. So there's something that we got to take in consideration, and I'm just hoping that we get healthy. We have to.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right,
gentlemen. I got to sign off, but hey, bear down.
Yes.
Can I get the clause? Can I get the clause before I leave?
Oh,
yeah. All right. See y'all, gentlemen, later.
Good seeing you.
See you later, Terry.
All right.
Yeah, Terry brought up a good point, man, talking about the defense, man. Defense played their ass off, man. We have what is a playoff caliber defense right now. They're ready for the playoffs. They're playing playoff caliber football right now. Holding the team to 3 points in the second half with that much firepower on offense, that was commendable. And, I got to tip my hat to Coach Flus for that one, man. I will give him tip my hat to him as our defensive coordinator, but I don't know about as a head coach. But we'll get into that. Look who popped in and eating, man. What you eating?
We're eating over here.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, bro?
What's up, Will?
Hey, just got in. Talk to me. What I'm missing?
Man, we just talking about this sorry ass offensive line.
We were talking about everything we were talking about last night. Offensive line, lack of protection, no time for Caleb, soft blocking, no run game. I mean, inexcusable errors at the end of halftime. Things like and laying all that to the side, and how at the end of the game we won. That game was winnable, and a winnable game, because I can tell you, I was, I did kind of get my hopes up until that Gerald Everett dropped, and I was like, forget it. I mean, it just, I was like, forget it, So, I think we've got a ways to go. But I am not going to be one of these people to blame Caleb and start talking about, JF1 and all that. Because listen,
So-
I'm going to be real. What did Justin Fields do yesterday? He had his typical 120-yard passing game, 50 yards rushing, and then I looked and he fumbled at the end. Somebody said he fumbled. He fumbled in the fourth. That's what he does. And I was like, I mean, that's what he does. So again, and all I said was Justin Fields would not have won that game yesterday either. So let's just put it to bed and move on.
I agree. I can't echo better sentiments.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Barlissimo. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. And
shout out Barlissimo. Put that video out, Barlissimo, please. Put out a video. We need it. I'm interested in seeing what you have to say about these guys. Yeah, they haven't been able to pick up stunts for the past 3 years. Though. I don't understand it.
And we talked about Indy too. I mean, we can always have Plank be our reporter on the sideline there. He's going next week.
Plank is going.
Plank is going next week.
Is he going?
Plank, we gonna be in Indy, man. Represent, man. We should get a win next week, man. Indy is not a good team, man, and they've allowed a lot of both teams to rush for a lot of yards on them these past 2 weeks. So, man, we should be able to get right. This should be a get right game for our rushing attack at least. Maybe we can get some good play action passing going to get Caleb going as well, man. We need to get him under center more though, man, because all of this shotgun play is just not. Yeah, that's what I said that too. They did the same thing the first game, so they just really went and followed the same script that they saw. Who was that? The first game, the Tennessee Titans run, where they did a lot of run blitzing, and filled up the holes. That's why we were seeing these tackles for losses all the time. There was no running room at all, but still, man. Our offensive line gets no push. That shouldn't affect the 3rd and 1, a 3rd and inches play. So we got to get a lot fixed with this offensive line.
Got a lot of work to do.
Sorry, Sam. I don't mean to interrupt. I know David's got to head out too. So before you go, David, any other parting words for us?
Listen, it's a long season. We're 1-1. The schedule does favor us for the next couple of weeks. Listen, Indianapolis and the Rams. I almost said St. Louis because I'm that old. The Los Angeles Rams. I just read that Puka's out.
Puka's out and Cooper Kupp's
out. And Cooper Kupp's out. So that's two. And then there's no more Aaron Darnold. Their offensive line is not that great. I think the next 2 games are completely winnable, and just take it one game at a time. But we have got to get consistent. We have got to get downfield going. Again, the drops. Got to work on the drops. Odunze's got to catch that ball in the end zone. He's got to high point that ball and catch it.
Yes.
Again, we're 1-1. 15 more games to go. A lot of learning we could do. And J2K is absolutely right. We could be 4-1 if we play our game. Defense does its thing, and offense just. I was saying last night, I was like, we should have scored a passing touchdown by accident by now, just by a broken coverage. I don't know what it is, but we're going to figure it out. Caleb is too good not to figure it out. I just want them. I just can't see them going from left to right from the left tackle to right tackle as it is right now. I want them to make the moves that I brought up earlier, even 1 or 2, but I think Tevin has to move. I think Kramer needs to get a shot at center. And I think if Kieran is 100%, he's on the active roster, put him in at left guard. I know he can play. I know he can do it. He's big. He's nasty. If not, then put in Shelton. Anybody else, it doesn't matter. Can't get any worse. You have got to give that man a clean pocket. You got to give him a clean pocket. So with that being said, bear down, claws up, let's go. I got nothing but faith. All right, bear down, you guys. And I'll talk to you next time. Go Bears.
Go Bears. Yeah. David's right, man. We're down. We're not out. We're down right now, fellas. Everybody in the chat. We talking. We hurting. We talking about everything and how bad it was. But that we're down. We're not out. There's still a lot of opportunity to salvage this season, to salvage this offense, because this offense has so much talent. And we just have to shore up this offensive line, man. We just need to, like I said, move out 2 players and insert someone else at center and someone else at right guard. And, and let's grow and get everything else shored up. because I think our tackles, they had a bad game against two great pass rushers. You know, we're not going to see that caliber of pass rusher for quite some time this year. I'll say that for quite some time this year. We may see it later on down the line, but by then, you know, we should have built up ourselves a little bit, and our scheme should be a lot better. And, you know, we'll have better protection plans, you know, with the utilizing our tight ends a little bit better. Man, let's talk about what did go well, man. You know, enough about what hasn't gone well, man. Let's talk about some good things that happened, man. First off, what would you say was really good? What would you say?
You know what? We talked about Caleb a little bit, so I just wanted to bring up his stats for the week just so everyone could see. And then I'll show it side by side from last week, because what was big for me is we saw growth and we saw the potential that was there. So you're seeing he was 23 for 37, 62% completion percent. That's up from last week. It's 174 yards, 7.6 yards average per completion. That's up again. The interceptions, of course, were up too. So you got to take the good and the bad. Right? So there's that, and he had 7 sacks. He also contributed 44 yards rushing. Compare that to last week. Huge upgrades across the board.
Yep.
Right. His completion percent up almost 20%. He almost doubled his passing yards. He got the 2 interceptions. Big deal. They're going to happen, right? So that's the big thing that really stood out to me, Samo, is like we are seeing that progression in terms of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely made some progress. I thought he showed some development, especially on that first drive, man. That first drive was really nice. When he went down the field, 55 yards passing. I want to say he was was it 5 for 5 or something like that? You know,
he was like 5 for 5, 6 for 6.
Yeah, to start the game, you know, that's usually when they come out with the scripted game plan. But he was executing, you know, on time with his in rhythm of the offense. Man, we need to just be a little bit more consistent and play and keep up with that game plan, because it seems like we went away, like the game plan changed at some point in the middle of the game. Once you start experiencing all the pressure, then you start seeing all the horizontal throws, you know, and all of that stuff, you know, and looking like we're scared to try to get the ball downfield. You know, where are the quick slants? You know, where are the quick outs? I was saying, like, where are the quick comeback routes and all of that good stuff, man, to get the ball out of his hands quickly as well. You know, it's just things like the game plan failed him as well. I'll say that. And not only was Caleb good, man, I want to say DeAndre Carter is a pretty damn decent wide receiver. I thought that he caught a lot of those passes from Caleb early on. I think that he's a serviceable wide receiver, you know, if we had a guy out like we did in Keenan Allen. So I thought that he played pretty well. I love to see the fight in our rookie wide receiver, because, you know, he's playing hurt, but he played the entire game, every snap. So I love to see that from Rome. You know, the kid showed a lot of toughness, a lot of heart. However, we know that he has some learning to do as well, because he did come out and admit that he did run the wrong route on that final play of the game, which was big too, man. That shows some real leadership. I like to see when guys hold themselves accountable, not only in private but in public as well. You know, I'll forgive him for that, man. Him being a rookie, man, and the heart that he showed in this game. You know, he's gonna take his L's. It's not easy to play wide receiver in this league. So,
to what you were saying about DeAndre Carter, I mean, he definitely had more playing time so far in the first 2 games than I thought he'd get all season, outside of special teams. So, I mean, he ended up with 32 yards on the day and averaged over 10 and a half. I couldn't really ask anything more from him, you know, in terms of that.
Yep. I thought DJ Moore played great. I thought DJ Moore is a dog. DJ Moore is a dog, man. He is the number 1 receiver. He showed a lot of heart, a lot of fight, a lot of emotion. I don't think we've ever seen so much emotion from DJ. You know, he was angry. He was upset in that game. Now, I think he was frustrated. It was a lot of frustration, but I don't think it was aimed towards Caleb per se. He just wants to win. You know, he was out there competing, and I'm glad to see that from him, man. And hopefully that rubs off on the rest of those guys on that offense. And, you know, he speaks out a little bit more because he can be a quiet guy from what I hear in the locker room, and maybe he needs to speak up, man. And which he has talked about it and said we need to block better, and he said it in public. But he needs to say that in private to those guys too, man. They need to hear from him because he is a leader by example, and maybe we need him to be a little bit more vocal on that offense because that offense needs some leadership right now is what it seems like.
No, it definitely does. You just have to worry with a guy like DJ is where's the line, so to speak, that you're too emotional, you're too heated, and you're actually a detriment to your team. Because he was walking to the sideline screaming whatever, and then he did almost his helmet during that one pass play. But I mean, it was just a miscommunication across it. We saw it with Rome and Caleb. We saw it with DJ and Caleb too. So that's something they got to work on together. They got to get on the sidelines. They got to get in the film room and be like, hey, what are we doing here? And how can we change this? Because we can't continue on this path if we want to win football games. Right.
Right.
And that's the thing. The offense and adaptability is the name of the game. Right. And we're not really seeing that per se. We're seeing new things being tried, but even on the offensive side of the ball, it seemed like it's been an experiment for the first 2 weeks of the season. What's going to work? And it's very compartmentalized. Like we're going to try rollouts this week, and then it's going to be a more standard structured pocket this week, like we saw last night. I mean, did you see any play action rollouts like we saw the week before?
None of that.
Not really.
None of that. Not one play. I don't remember seeing one rollout play. I don't even remember seeing the pocket moved at any point. And you got these two guys that the best two edge rushers on a single team in the league, and we didn't move the pocket. We didn't roll them out any in this game, man. So, there's some culpability on the game plan that Shane Waldron put out and tried to execute in this game as well. Which brings up another point for me, man, that I want to just say, not to go back to the negative, but do you think, Walt, that Coach Eberflus has maybe some influence or maybe too much influence on the game plans for the offense? Because if you look at this offense yesterday, it looked like a Luke Getsy game plan from last year. And the only constant is, the head coach, who's helping to develop that game plan. So I don't know, man. That's just something that I thought about. I have no insider information to say that that's what's happening, but I do know that Flus wanted a certain type of offense from the Packers, and he wanted to run this style of offense where you get the ball into the receiver's hands really quickly. And now we keep seeing this same game plan, but we have dogs in our receiver room, man, guys who can get down the field and get open, and we're still running the same type of, lazy, weak offense right now. So I don't know, man. What do you think?
No, there was something I'll bring it up real quick, but I do want to address a different part about Matt Eberflus. And that's looking at going back all the way to the offseason when they did remove Luke Getsy. Like you said, it looks like a very Luke Getsy-esque offense. At this point, maybe you should have moved on from Matt Eberflus as well. It doesn't make logical sense to really keep him. And I like Eberflus too, so it's not really a knock on him. It's just the job isn't being done, right?
Nope.
Like you said, I don't know what's going on offensively. I know defensively he has a very large hand in terms of that, and I think he needs to just take his hand out of the cookie jar and walk away in terms of defense. You're a head coach now. You're not a defensive coordinator. If you want to be a defensive coordinator, get out and go somewhere else. All right, we don't have time for this bullshit. There was a comment made by Flus maybe last week in an interview, and it wasn't part of the question, but when he was answering, he said he's speaking on Eric Washington. That's it. And he said Eric Washington's a great guy. I just talked to him before coming out here, and when I go back on offense, so how I take it is he has some sort of say in the offensive game. It's not all Shane Waldron. Right? I kind of feel like Waldron comes up with his game plan, then it has to get checked by Matt Eberflus, maybe something along those lines. And he offers his expertise in terms of what he wants from his offense. And I think you just need to let it go.
Yep.
Just let it go, man. Just let it all go. You're the head coach. Stand there, look pretty, go to the press conferences and say absolutely nothing but a bunch of words, and not take accountability for your own guys. You blame everything else but your coaches. We've seen that multiple times. We saw it last night. You know, you brought these guys in for a reason, right? Let them do their work. Let them do their job. These guys aren't slouches.
Yep. So J2K says that he thinks that we're tripping on, on Flus and the coaching. So what we're saying, J2K, is that Matt Eberflus is a great defensive coordinator right now. I understand what you're saying, J2K, and then it is an overreaction. We understand that it's an overreaction. However, Matt Eberflus needs to be a head coach, and he's not. He's failing as a head coach in some areas. I'll say that, because he does still have the team motivated. Those guys fought from beginning to end, and they've been fighting that way since last year, into this year. However, the issues with the red flag on yesterday, that's a head coaching. That's head coaching. He's failed at that, man. Whatever process he has put in place for challenging reviews and all of that stuff, he needs to reevaluate that, because he's so focused on the defense. He's missing out on those opportunities and failing us as a head coach in that area. As far as being able to oversee the offense and making sure that those game plans are good, he's failing us in that area. Either he's too hands-on or he's not enough hands-on right now. He can't do both, though. You can't go over here and plan and run the defense as the defensive coordinator and do the offenses, the work that you need to do to make sure that your offense is up and running as well. So we just think that he would have benefited from just being the head coach as opposed to trying to be the defensive coordinator as well. And as far as, us feeling like, or me feeling like that we could have moved on from him, I would have went and got Bobby Slowick. If I'm getting a new quarterback, a rookie quarterback, and I'm bringing him in and Caleb Williams, and I just saw what Bobby Slowick did with C.J. Stroud last year, there's no way I'm going to keep Matt Eberflus. My defense is going to be fine because I got dogs on my defense. We paid for that defense. We drafted that defense high. So, someone else could have run this defense. We just saw Eric Washington run this defense in the preseason. So is it really all Matt Eberflus, or can someone else do the same thing? That's what we're saying, J2K. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm more concerned about the development of my quarterback and the development of my offense, which we've not had here in Chicago, and especially my quarterback. So that's why I feel like I would have gone out, and I love that, Ryan Poles loves people and he values people, but you also have to value production in this game. And I think that was important to think about or consider, maybe looking at a Bobby Slowick, or even talking to him on the side, maybe, and talking to him to find out, like, is this the guy that I would want to work with and can run this offense and, can develop a quarterback the way that I want him to be developed. So that's just something that I feel. And I felt this since last year. I'm not just saying that this year. I felt this when it happened, when they decided to keep Eberflus. But we're rolling with Flus right now, so we'll move on. But I just wanted to explain myself there and how I feel about it, about that situation.
Exactly, Samuel. It's not that, we're going nuts over a loss. Like, I figured we were going to lose last night anyway. So the loss itself, the action of the loss doesn't bother me. What's up, Cliff? What bothers me is we're seeing the same mistakes being repeated over and over and over again on both sides of the ball, the offense and defense. So your job as a head coach is to remedy those in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's like David said, move Tevin Jenkins over, bring Matt Pryor. You scratched Karan, so he couldn't come in, but he's also an option too. If you're seeing problems with your offensive line and you make no changes at all,
exactly,
not even something as simple as you bringing in Kmet and Everett. I know they didn't do a great job, but you're still trying something different. If you're not
Mhm.
trying at all, then you're failing us as a fan base.
Yep, exactly. And we saw this the same thing last year where we didn't feel like, or we didn't witness Matt Eberflus holding Luke Getsy and the offensive staff accountable. And not until the end of the year when these guys were fired, and then you decide to keep one of the guys in Chris Morgan, and you tell us that he's a really good coach, and you not only keep him, but you promote him to running game coordinator. And then, this is the result that we see. So, that's another failure on Matt Eberflus as a head coach to me, because if you decided to keep this guy, then we should be seeing some better play from offensive linemen. We shouldn't see regression in offensive linemen that we're seeing from year to year to year. And we shouldn't see, quite frankly, if I'm Ryan Poles, it makes Ryan Poles look bad because he picked these players. He drafted these players. He signed these guys, and none of them are playing well. So who is that on? Who takes accountability for that? Should we be blaming Ryan Poles, or is it the coaching? Because it can't, or is it the players? Is it just that Poles' evaluation is bad? But there's usually some consistent agreement between coaches and the GM, and when they bring in players. So, I'm sure the coaches said that, yeah, we think this guy is a good player. Like, yeah, we'd be on board with you bringing him in, but none of them are playing together well. And that's my problem right now. So with Eberflus, man, the lack of accountability. We didn't see it last year, and I doubt that we see it this year, man. We're not going to see him move on from Chris Morgan mid-season. So we're just going to have to hope that he talks to Chris Morgan, maybe get him some help somehow with a consultant or something, or do something to help him, because right now this offensive line hasn't looked good in the past 3 years under his tutelage.
Yeah, and to J2K's point, it is only the second game of the season. Fully understand that. So, no one's like jumping off a cliff here in terms of, we should get rid of him right now because he's here, right? There's no changing that, like you said. They would have done that mid-season last year when, we went 0-4 to start the year, but they kept him all season. So, that really doesn't matter anymore. What we're discussing here is the fact that change is not happening.
Change doesn't happen on this team.
And that's what.
And listen, I know it's the second game of the year, but we've been dealing with this shit for the past 2-3 seasons. We've been dealing with the same thing for the past 2-3 seasons. Like, yeah, it's the second game of the year, but we've been dealing with this shit for the past 2 or 3 seasons. And I don't see any team that I watched on Sunday look as bad as the Bears do on offense. We look like a JV team. Can you think of any team that looks as bad as the Bears on offense?
I honestly don't know.
Anyone send it to me on Twitter, on X, and let me know, what team looks worse than the Bears on offense. Because we just look like we're just a JV team playing a varsity team, man, out there on a weekly basis. And it's looked like that for the past couple years now. How many teams are getting sacked 7 times in a game? How many teams are putting up 98 yards passing, less than 100 yards passing in a game? It just doesn't happen in the NFL often, and it's happening too often for us. So that's why we're frustrated, and that's why we're saying, like, something has to change. So I know it's the second game of the year, but I don't want to get too far down the line and then say that it's the 4th or the 5th game in the year, and, we're still dealing with the same thing. Like, I would rather start to see some changes occur this week, starting with, moving some players around, because some of those guys don't deserve to continue to have a starting role on this team. That's all I'm saying.
And like we brought up earlier, I'll bring it up again. You can see there is change, and they are moving forward, right? But the old ways are still kind of creeping in a little bit, right? You're not making that full metamorphosis into the team that we know they can be. So there is that, and that's why people are frustrated. We're not going to get on we should have taken the Hall thing, or that Justin Fields would have won that game. Like, that's just stupid to even talk about. Honestly, it's a waste of time. Right.
Man, it's a good look. we're done with Justin. Justin is in Pittsburgh right now, so I just want to focus on the Bears, man. I just want the Bears to be good. I think that Caleb is going to be good, but I feel like we have to figure some things out with this offensive line. We have to get some things figured out with this offense and the play calling. And I think Caleb is going to be good because I think we have the players on offense. Maybe not the offensive line. Maybe we don't have the dogs that we need on the offensive line, but I think those guys are serviceable. I still and believe in both of our tackles. I still believe in Tevin. And I like Matt Pryor a lot at guard. So maybe put Matt Pryor back in there. I'm not sure who to put in at center, but I'm willing to give Doug Kramer a try because it can't get much worse than what we've been getting from Coleman Shelton in the past 2 weeks.
Exactly. You have to go in and make those changes now. I mean, yesterday is over. We can't go back and change that. So that's done. They took the loss. Big deal. It happens. We know you're not going to go 17-0, right?
No.
And like Cliff says here, 4 to 6 games, Caleb's going to get into his rhythm and settle down. I definitely 100% agree with that. And also, Cliff was our winner last week at the trivia contest, and there he is with his shirt. He was nice enough to send a photo.
Looking good, baby. Looking good. I see you, Cliff. Oh, he got all the grills back there too. Cliff always talked about he get it in. Well, Cliff gets it in with the cooking. I see he got like 2 smokers. That looks like a gas grill. Look at Chris. I see you, baby. Looking good in that Monsters of the Gridiron swag. We got to get another trivia up there so we can get someone else in the shirt soon.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do it next week.
Yep.
We'll get everyone in and we'll talk about that though. I mean, honestly, guys, overall, like I said, there are some glaring problems we have to deal with, right? We have to look at the offensive line. Something has to be done tomorrow. Well, it's Monday, so tomorrow when they get back into the building, whether it is trying out Doug Kramer. I personally like Doug Kramer a whole lot. I thought he was actually really decent in college. And unfortunately, he ran into the foot injury, but it seems to be past him now. So, I mean, look good in the preseason. Give him a go. You can't get any worse, like you said. I mean, what's he going to do? Get sacked again? It's already happening right now. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Right.
So, there's other people out there saying we should move Tevin over to right guard. I say keep him the left guard. He's fine. All right. If you want to do something, try Corona right guard. See how he does. I have faith in Braxton Jones that he can put it together. He didn't look. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad last night either.
Right. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. I said the same thing, man. Our tackles, man, they usually play a lot better. It was just everything. They look confused. And that's, again, that to me says that the coaching and the game plan was confusing to them. And they didn't seem like they knew who to block sometimes, or they were confused about if they had help behind them sometimes. And maybe it's just with the tight ends in the backfield, maybe that confuses them or something. Maybe they just need more time on task to understand, where their help is coming from. And when there is actually help out there for them. So we'll see how it goes, man. Like you said, I just want to see something change sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and JJK, we just brought that up. Wright had a bad game, but he can definitely bounce back from that. And so can everyone else. But like you're saying here, the change is not really unrealistic. You have to make change. You can't just sit on your hands and do nothing. So if something isn't working, you change it, like everything else in life. If this doesn't work, I'm not going to continually do the same thing over and over again. That's a waste of time.
That's the definition of insanity, is to expect a different result and continue to do the same thing over and over again. And that's what we've been doing for the past few years.
Even if it's something very simple as taking Nate Davis out, putting Matt Pryor in for a game, seeing where it does. I mean, everyone here seems to hate Nate Davis, so I don't think they would sniff at that. They'd probably welcome it with open arms, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, man, something just has to change, man. We can't roll these fighting 5 guys out there and expect to see something different at this next game. The Indianapolis Colts aren't a good team, but they're not going to roll over for the Bears either. They're coming. They're bringing the heat just like the Tennessee Titans did and just like the Texans did this past week. So, You can expect to see a lot of run blitzing and a lot of blitzing on pass plays as well. So, look, we got to be prepared for that. And to prepare for that, I think we need to make some type of change on that offensive line.
Just quickly to your comment too, you're saying not after game 2. Then fine, when? Right.
After we lose a couple games, should we lose a couple games? Or I could see if it didn't look good, J2K, if it was just, inconsistent. They were blitzing and they got pressure on, what was it, like 23 of 47 plays. 23 of 47 plays, 40 plays or something. They were immediate pressure. There was immediate pressure on Caleb Williams, man. That just doesn't happen in the NFL, man. Teams don't allow that to happen. It doesn't happen because teams don't allow that to happen. The offensive scheme is, make adjustments to keep their quarterback from getting that pressure immediately and get the ball out of his hands a little bit faster. Or, teams have make adjustments to their players, man, when it does happen. Like, we got to make some type of change, J2K. Like, I don't want to just wait until you saying we're going to be 4-1. If we're 4-1 with this same with these same starting 5 guys, then
I gladly say go with it. If we're 4-1, keep it.
But I can't see that happening. I don't see that happening. But I don't want to continue. And we may be 4-1, but it's going to be a painful 4-1. I'll say that it's going to be a painful 4-1 and it's going to be painful for Caleb Williams, man, because they're coming up the middle. They see that Coleman Shelton is a turnstile in the middle, man. They're running straight through this dude. Linebackers are, as well as the defensive linemen. So, people don't want to believe that change, that we should make the change. But, hey, we see if guys bounce back. Bouncing guys around is a recipe for disaster. I don't think so. Not bouncing guys around. We're getting the best guy. You got to play your best 5. And you can't convince me that Coleman Shelton and Nate Davis are 2 of our best 5 offensive linemen. After I saw what Matt Pryor did in the preseason, he played a lot better than both of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you have what's left of the depth. I know Ryan Bates is gone, otherwise for the time being. Otherwise, I'd say give him a go at center. That's kind of partially why you brought him in. Not the only reason. You can definitely back up a guard too. But you have this depth for a reason. Use it. And if someone, and like you said, if the coaches are watching these guys in practice and they're doing good, give them a try.
Mm-hmm. He's saying that he pressed that the coaches believe that these 2 guys are the better of the 2 guys. So,
well, I mean, right now I can't say anything about Doug Kramer right now. All I can go by is what he did in the preseason, and he was pretty good. What I can tell you right now, Coleman Shelton is not getting it done.
Coleman is not getting it done. No.
It's not even just his blocking too. You can see there's miscommunications with the other guards and people in terms of when the snap count is. That's why you're watching Darnell Wright got those 2 false starts last night. Nate Davis picked up a false start on his own. There's something going on with the head of your line. That linchpin there is there for a reason, and everybody functions off of that. If that's broken or doesn't work properly, then everything else falls apart and the machine breaks down.
Good point. Yep. So we'll see, man. Like, we don't have the answers. I'm not a coach. I don't have the answers. Like J2K says, they see these guys. They know who's playing well, but I know that who's playing well in practice. But practice is practice. I'm going to say that too. Practice is fucking practice. They told us that our offense was ready because of practice. And the offense is not ready. There's no way of simulating a game situation in practice. There isn't. There just isn't. If you ever play football, practice is practice. A game is a game. If you're playing against, I don't care if they are playing against a top 5 defense. I'm not going to blow up my own guy. That's my guy. That's still my teammate at the end of the day. I'm not going to go as hard at my teammate as I am against the Texans. So and the Texans are going to be a lot tougher on these guys. The Texans are going to punch guys in the face on the sideline. That's not going to happen in practice. You know, the Texans are going to late hit Caleb Williams. That's not going to happen in practice. So there's no simulation for a game in practice is all that I'm saying. Like, we have to evaluate players in games, not practice. Let's not think about, practice is, oh, he did well in practice. Yeah, the offense looked good in practice. The offense looked good in the preseasons in practice games when they got the opportunity to play. But maybe they needed more time on task, what I'm saying, so that we could have got to see, how they were going to face, how they going to hold up when they face adversity, man. And when they face, a really tough player in front of them. Because guys weren't winning one-on-ones. That's just, there were 5-man rushes. We had 2 guys in Caleb's face. So 3 out of those 5 guys were able to slow their guys down, but those other 2 guys were allowing immediate pressure on Caleb, man, and that was happening multiple times in the game. That's all I'm saying. Practice is practice. We need to be good in games. I want guys who want to play well in games. We're not going to, look like practice all-stars. I've seen a lot of practice all-stars in my life, but when the lights come on, Bayless is the practice all-star. Bayless looked great in practice. Let everyone tell it for the past few years. When the lights come on, it's when it matters. So practice is practice. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you think, man? We're getting about an hour in now. Monday Night Football starting up. We might as well let these guys go so they can watch the Eagles and Falcons go at it.
Yep, for sure. J2K, you got to come on the show, man. We got to have this conversation on the show next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was a good conversation across the board with everybody. We had Jigsaw, J2K, MC Fat. Yep. Ant Miss is in here. Plank is here always. Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad you didn't get here to Cliff until the end, but you made it.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Triple R is here. I'm glad to see him, man. I always love talking to Trips.
Absolutely. Hey, we got an opportunity to bounce back this week, man, against a bad Colts team. But like I said, they're not going to lay down for us. But I am confident that we will bounce back and that we will get that W against the Indianapolis Colts. It might be ugly, but we're gonna get the dub. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of easy softball games coming up.
Yeah,
that we should use them to help get our team in rhythm. That's what it's all about. It's all about rhythm. We got to get the offense in rhythm. We get the defense in rhythm. We get the line in rhythm. And once everything's in rhythm, then it becomes a well-oiled machine, and you start picking up wins.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely,
there's that. There's always next week now.
Always next week, but I still believe, baby, that we will at least win at least 10 games. I still got us down for 10, baby. Mm-hmm. So that being said, claws up.
Claws up, guys. Enjoy your Monday night.
Bear down.
Bear down.